welcome y'all, the few, the proud, the insiders, the pioneers and early accessors. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Claire, okay, you were the first person to respond this morning, weren't you? That's amazing. What's up, y'all? What a crazy day. For those of you guys that had billing issues and sign-up issues, I sincerely apologize. It's been nuts over here. We've all been living in support, kind of cranking through everything, getting everybody set up. We're pretty close to getting most people set up. If you're not, haven't been able to upgrade in the long form and all that yet, go ahead and just message support again right now, just to kind of bump that to the top. We're down to the very end. So if you haven't, or if you had any issues, let them know now. We should be able to get you set up. And yeah, apologize for all that. If I charge you 300 grand, I apologize for that too. Okay, cool. So anyway, what I want to do on this call is basically just have a conversation and get a lot of feedback from you guys as well about what you're seeing so far. This is an early access product. And so as you've probably seen, there's some bugs, there's some funny things. Some of that is things that we need to improve about the product and that we already are working on. Some of it's, probably just a little bit of a learning curve as well. But I've seen already, let me know if you guys have written blog posts or long form stuff today. Let me know. Ash, you've already written 4 blog posts. That's awesome. Other people using it. Wrote one today. I have officially Jarvis Day. Keeps throwing weird URL links that it's tried to create. Okay, cool. So a lot of people already writing stuff here so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a little bit more in depth, what's going on inside the editor, how it's working, little issues that we already know about, kind of little tips as well. And then I'd love to get your feedback and kind of hear you weigh in on what you've run into as well. And just be sure that we're seeing all the stuff that we need to know about here as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Chris is going to be on the call. He's walking. That's Chris right there. So you guys can see, you guys know exactly where he's at now in that little box back there. All right, so let me share my screen. I know now Chris doesn't mind me pointing at him. All right, you guys see this? Yeah, Chris, people are wondering, why are you in that box back there? Is that the penalty box? Chris gets a little rowdy, and so we stick him back there. It's the mute room box. Will recording be available? Will a recording be available for some of us slow learners? Yes. Also, we have one of these calls every day this week. And so as we're kind of getting fixes out the door and updates and learn from you guys, you can always show up to one of these calls as well. All right, so let's dive in here. So, to get to this, you're going to open up the content section. Yeah, people said what time. I should probably share that. Let me check. Chris, do you have the times on when we're doing these calls every day? Would you be able to post that or share links in there? Chris will get you guys the times for that. We kind of alternate them in the morning and afternoon so that, people from around the world can make it. So it's not the same time every day, but we'll keep you guys updated on that. Okay, cool. So long form assistant. This is obviously the guided version, that, has the steps to start, whereas the blank document doesn't. So what's the difference there? Well, in our minds, the difference is that, the blank document's going to be the kind of thing that you'll open up. If you just want to maybe work inside the templates over here and copy and paste some stuff in, or if you want to just kind of rewrite more often, and you just want to kind of maybe, rewrite an article. So you grab some competitors' art, blog post, paste it in here, just rewrite a bunch of stuff. You don't have to, do anything with the compose button there. So it's kind of just a blank document. I'm curious to see kind of how you guys use it, or, if you guys use it, but that's kind of, what that blank doc is for. And the other one has the compose button, and, has really the onboarding flow. But after that, you're outside of that, they're pretty much the same thing here. Okay, so hopping in here, first thing, as I said, we've got to describe the content that we create. This is your chance to tell Jarvis what you want to do. And as I said in the call too, if you are really care about the direction that the article goes, or care about the story that the article goes, you can put all that in here. And so, if I was writing a story about, let's say a story of me breaking my arm, story, whatever, a funny story about the time I broke my arm. Okay, so that describes it. Now, obviously, if I care a lot about, different elements of the story, or where the plot goes, or who should be in there and all that, I should put all this here, and then Jarvis will get to that over time here. If I don't, he'll just kind of make it up and just kind of do that. I could say it's a funny story about the time I broke my arm. My mom showed up to help. I couldn't, whatever, feel anything. Everyone was crying. I went to the hospital. Yada yada. You put all that stuff in there, and then Jarvis has a much better chance of getting to all of that throughout the story, or throughout the content there. Same thing for a blog post. So if I wanted to, say a blog post about how to shoot lower scores in golf. The key, to lower scores is scoring around the green. Type anymore. I've been using Jarvis so much. Scoring around the green, chipping and putting are a must. Yada yada. If I put all that in there and kept, I could keep on typing. He's going to work that in there more. Or let's say I was writing a blog post about Conversion.ai's release. It doesn't know anything about Conversion.ai. So it's very similar to like your product description or input box in the templates there. And that if you want it to talk about it, you need to probably tell it to talk about it. Otherwise, there's a good chance that it won't, or might take a different direction there or whatever. Craig asked, should that information be more concise and then expanded in the output, or is it better to make it more specific? I don't know the answer to that. I'd say play around with it. I mean, one of the reasons that we did the unlimited plan as the only plan here is because there's still a lot of things that we're trying to figure out, and there's duplicates and stuff like that. It's kind of annoying. And so we just figure, well, if everyone's on unlimited, then, maybe they won't, care as much about that stuff there. And so, I'd say play around with that. And I think we'll know more here over the next few weeks. Claire asked, how should we put keywords in? I'd probably put it like this, keyword. The keyword to focus on is, is putting. A good keyword, but, golf tips. Or even put it in quotes here, that'd probably pick up. We're going to add a little keyword box here as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more focused optimization there. So you could do that. Keywords. So what about multiples? So the keywords to focus on are golf tips and, golf training aids. And that would probably work there. And again, we're going to move that out into a box in a different UI, into a little bit better UI there, but that would probably work there right now. Okay, so we move on. Title here. Okay. 11 steps lower golf scores, how to shoot lower scores in golf, keyword strategies for beginners. So you got a little bit weird there. 8 keys to lowering your golf scores. Great. So I choose one there. I've got this intro paragraph, and you can think of this like intro text. I mean, if I put in, an email about how to, sign up for Conversion AI, or a Facebook post talking about the launch of my new course. It's not so much going to be a paragraph all the time. It's a little bit annoying that you can't see the full paragraph in here. That's something that we're going to open up. So no need to let us know about that. Okay, if you've been struggling to lower your scores, you usually find that these are pretty dang good. Okay, so I take that, open it here. Great. So I made it through the editor. If you've been struggling to lower your golf scores, if so, this blog post is for you. I'm going to share 8 keys to lowering your golf scores. You should also take advantage of golf tips articles such as, okay, so I'm going to take that out here. Okay, cool. So I do this here. Now, again, I want you to understand what's happening here behind the scenes. It's going to help you do this a lot better here. So, when we do a generation or you hit compose, we're basically sending in a bunch of data into Jarvis. And then Jarvis is taking that information, combined with the training that we've given him, and he's outputting what he thinks we want him to output. And for the most part, Jarvis is looking for patterns, and he's looking back at the text that you've written, and then he is trying to make sense of it. It's like, okay, well, based on all of this, and based on some of the training, and based on the name of this and the description, what makes the most sense to output, here as content here. Okay, and so let's just give it a shot and just see what he does. One tip is I've found that Jarvis doesn't do as well if I just run it after a period. It does better if I start the next sentence or start the next thing that I want him to go, in the direction. Right now, I don't know if Jarvis is going to either try to write, the first heading, he'll like write number 1 and go from there, or he'll, maybe write another paragraph. I'm guessing he'll probably write like a number 1 and kind of make up the number 1 there. We'll see. Oh, actually, I guess, I didn't really read this, but I guess I kind of got, it's kind of weird here. The first key, chipping around the green. Green. Second key is the short game here. Whoops. Okay, so, somebody else mentioned that they're getting some like weird URLs and all that stuff in here. That's something that we can take out kind of over time through training here. I just delete that stuff right now. We know about that. So again, no need to fret about that. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Cool. So, quick little intro paragraph. First key is chipping and putting on the green. Second key is to focus on the short game. One thing that really helps, as I said in the webinar earlier, is adding these 2 pound signs before your headers. Makes it more likely for Jarvis to write content and not go run into the header. And so basically what's happening here, if I put my cursor right here, really what I'm wanting to do is maybe unpack a little bit more about first key is chipping and putting around the green. Chipping and putting are a must in order to shoot better scores. It can be frustrating when we miss short putts, but there are many training aids out there that can help us improve our skills on these shots. And so if I want him to talk a little bit more about this, I want to be sure that I add those pound signs there. Then as he looks up, he's kind of recognizing, okay, well, this is the header. This is the paragraph. And if I hit generate, obviously I can't hit it right now. It's got a better chance of kind of like jumping to the next section. But if I start this thing out, he'll probably write another paragraph here. So let's say chipping and putting. My favorite training aid for learning how to chip is great. Let's see here. The golf chipping trainer is a weighted head that can be used for practicing chipping shots from any line. Also teaches how the ball will react when struck with different clubs. Keeps practicing your technique, so make sure. No, I recommend this product, but making time in order for yourself or child golfer learn these skills. Hey, one question for you guys. I've noticed a little bit today that Jarvis's grammar hasn't been great. And he's kind of like left out words here and there. How many of you guys have seen that? I've just kind of noticed it a little bit. It's not really common for him. All right. Yeah, again, it's not really common. I don't know what's going on there. We'll kind of look into that. Or, even like adding like the extra P here is kind of weird for him. He doesn't really do that in other templates, nearly this much here. Okay, but we'll look at that here. I think I know how we can update that. Okay, so he writes these paragraphs, and we can go clean this up a little bit here, and we're good to go. Somebody asked, why can't I hit generate? Well, the way we've got it set up is, that Jarvis generates some stuff and then you give a little bit more info about where you want it to go, add 10 words or more. And then Jarvis will generate some more stuff. And we want it to be this back and forth where you're involved in it. It's not, you'll get better results that way than just hitting click, 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 click. And so, after generation, we just ask that you write a little bit there. Okay, cool. So let's say I wanted to generate another paragraph right here. One thing I found is that, remember, Jarvis is looking back 600 characters for his instructions here. And so let's see this. Character count tool. Okay, so 649 characters, including spaces here. And so he's basically looking back to, somewhere around here. And so when we send our information into Jarvis, we're basically saying, hey, Jarvis, write me some more sentences about this. And here's what you need to know about this article. It's a blog post, with all this stuff. The title of it is this. And here's the most recent content. Due to some technical limitations, we can't send in all of it. And so one thing you will kind of notice with Jarvis is that if you make your, kind of paragraphs under a heading too long, he'll lose context a little bit and he won't, maybe stay on track, kind of stay like talking about what the heading is about. And so at least right now, until we can kind of, expand that, you're going to get best results from shorter paragraphs, like under a header. So I'd probably keep it to about this length here because we want it to look back and see all the way back up to the header. And so now Jarvis is saying, okay, well, I'm reading the blog post. I know what the title is. I know what they want me to do. I know what the header of this is. And then, after a header, they write 2 paragraphs about it. And so he's starting to learn the pattern. I'd say he's much more likely to write. He's much more likely to write 2 paragraphs for this because he's seen that same pattern up here. Does that make sense? This is pattern matching. And so, yeah, and I agree with you guys. We need a way to kind of show you like the last 600 so you can kind of see where you are. But he's pattern matching. So he's saying, okay, well, looking here, well, I've got this. This is pound, pound 1, header. Paragraph, paragraph, pound, pound 2, header. He's much more likely to write here. Now, again, I need to kind of start this thing off because I can't generate. So I think key is to focus on the short game. I'm going to update this. Focus on, let's say, bunker shots. Shit, that wouldn't have made it through the content filter. Okay, second key is focus on bunker shots. Getting, or, most amateurs hate getting in the sand. Yet, okay, and I can do it. And I'm kind of on my mind. I'm thinking, yeah, it's not as hard as you think, but we'll see where Jarvis takes it here. Yeah, it's a skill we must master if we want to lower our scores. We can use the golf chipping trainer in order to learn how different shots react when they're hit from sand. Also practice them with it before heading out onto the course for real. Okay, now here he's kind of gone into the third key. Actually, I'd kind of clean this up. The first key, we wouldn't need to say that. And we'll say this would actually be bunker shot. This would actually be 3. And there's putting around obstacles or hazards such as trees. So, I'd turn this into another paragraph here. Now, in this case, I didn't really want Jarvis to like move on to number 3, because maybe I'd want to kind of decide that. So you will see that sometimes. It's something we're working on as well to get him to kind of stop moving on to the next topic. But if I started another paragraph here, he'll probably follow that. So, the key to good bunker shots is to stand. Also, one thing you'll notice, I think Jarvis works a little better if you don't end it with a space. So kind of backspace, and he'll add the space usually. Okay, and let's see. I'm kind of hoping he writes a paragraph here. He'll probably still leak into another number 3, but we'll see here. Okay. So there's some junk in here. I wrote, good. Again, I have to read through this thing. He wrote, good stuff there, but then started writing some junk, just about writing blog posts and all that stuff there. That's all stuff we're working on taking out here, but we still got a good paragraph, and just wrote a little bit there. Um, what questions about kind of what I've done here so far? Great to have this interface. It gives us word count. Yeah, we do have word count up here. It's a little bit, um, it's kind of just counts spaces, so it's not quite a word count. So turn a voice setting for the long form docs. And so one thing about this is it will read your past stuff and adjust to the tone that you've written. And so, if I really wanted it to write, something, I could put it in here. I could say a, snarky blog post, about that. Or I could even put down here, the tone of the blog post should be, witty. That's gonna be a lot more likely to generate a like intro that's pretty witty. But then what's really cool about this is as you write, it's going to really adjust to your writing style. It's going to adjust to your tone right on the fly. So let's try this here. I'll see if I can kind of show you that here. Okay, so it's like, stuck, shooting high golf scores. Sucks, don't it? Probably want to be pounding college buddies. Buddies, right? Okay, so I've totally changed the tone of this, and so what I'm sending into Jarvis here is basically, okay, Jarvis, write me a blog post that's about this stuff here. The title of it is this, and then here is kind of how we're kicking it off. Let's see what Jarvis does in this case. See, I hit the content filter. Some of you guys have kind of hit this. This is something we're kind of working on. We want it to be, basically we just want to stop kind of bad actors. I know some people are writing about topics and things that are clearly not bad things, and so we're working on kind of making this appropriate. But you might kind of run into that, as well, where basically our system like will block you from, I guess writing stuff that, this one's probably not wanting us to write about like pounding your college buddies here. Probably want to be beating your college buddies, right? Okay. Want to be beating your college buddies, right? Well, you can. I'm going to show you how. Here are the keys. Okay. So here's where it's kind of repeated the input. And again, this is one thing that you guys will see that I'm not loving about it. Let me try this again. So here are the keys: chipping and putting. These two skills will lower your scores done correctly with some practice. But how do you get started? I recommend two simple skills. And here again, I'm writing like choppy sentences. This would feel a little bit more like an email. Just the first post. Okay, so writes a ton of stuff here. It's not really following the format so much at the moment here, but a lot of times you will see that. Again, a little bit, winky faces, a little bit different. It's kind of like probably following, the blog post should be witty there. And yeah, somebody said Jarvis is uncontrollable. Sometimes he does whatever he wants. He really does, and this is an early product here. And so a lot of our job is to rein him in and, make this produce high quality content right out of the gate so that you don't have to, you'll get more good stuff in one go. What are the rules to make the compose button available again? So the rule is that after you hit generate or compose, you need to write 10 words. You can also copy in 10 words. And so, here, I could take, something out of this. I won't do that now, but Here we go. I just grab whatever. I grab something, and just paste it in there. But yeah, we just want you to add a little bit of content in there. Okay, cool. So what questions do we have here? And by the way, Chris is in the chat here as well, I believe, and he'll hopefully be answering questions here. Yeah, so again, we are going to add some boxes for keywords. Does Jarvis follow markdown elements? Not so much yet. Again, we're kind of using those 2 pound signs there, but not so much following markdown yet. But we are going to add styling to this, where you can have like H1, H2, bold, underline, italic, and all that stuff there. So we're going to add some of that here in the very near future here. Brett asked you to talk more about headings. Yeah, this is something that's like a little bit raw that we're working on. Basically, we've kind of trained Jarvis to, if it sees the pound signs, it's less likely to keep repeating that sequence and move on to the next one. So, for example, if I don't do this pound sign thing, it's very likely that Jarvis is going to very quickly move on and start writing about number 2. When in fact, I want him to write more of this paragraph here about number 1 heading. And so by adding the pound signs, I'm kind of more clearly labeling this to Jarvis. This is a heading, and what I want you to do is write paragraphs about it. If I don't do this, an example here, if I don't do this, I'll probably write a number 2 right here. Okay, so actually he didn't there. But he'd be more likely to just kind of go right to number 2, then number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. And so adding those little pound signs there can help kind of keep him from doing that. And that's the only short code on there here right now. And I don't even love short codes. We just haven't had a chance to build out. Eventually, we'll just have a button where you can just click H2 and we'll kind of do all that behind the scenes. Yeah, to confirm, Jarvis is using the last 600 characters as context. That's right. Does Jarvis look back 600 characters from where you put your cursor? The last 600 characters generated no matter where your cursor is at. And so it's the last 600 from where your cursor is at. One thing I want you guys to know about how Jarvis writes is Jarvis writes one token or one word at a time, essentially. And, so if he writes the word, let's say him writing the sentence. So anything building, Jarvis does not know what word he's going to write next after building. When he writes building, he writes building. And then he's kind of looking again. He's saying, okay, well, based on all of this and based on all of this, like what word comes next? And he decided it was or. And then he kind of runs it again. Okay, well, based on all of this context and based on all of this, what word comes next? And I forget what he wrote. He put decorative. And so he does it word by word. And so, sometimes you'll notice, somebody earlier clicked this button, and then this is one kind of glitch. If you click somewhere else on the page, it moves to right where your cursor is. And right when you move your cursor, it will actually like look at where the cursor is and look back from there and start trying to like write from there. And it gets really, really crazy. So one thing is, again, we're going to block this. Just don't put your cursor there. But Jarvis literally writes word by word, and he does not know what the next word is until he has written the last word. So it's a little bit of insight into, how he's actually writing and how he's thinking about that stuff there. Let me ask some more questions. Will this work as well with a person, right? Like Stephen King or right like James Altucher, or better use tone of voice? It's the same, it's the same AI that runs the templates. And so I see a lot of people doing that here, and it would probably work to write, write like James Altucher. You could write maybe like the tone of voice should be like Stephen King. That would probably work in here. Okay. Let me read through some questions here. Charles, you'd asked, are blogs and OSTs treated the same way? Oh, posts treated the same way? Yeah, functionally they're the same thing. Okay. Yeah, and Jarvis looks back, so I could write, more content. Basically he'll write wherever your cursor is. And he'll look back from there. Okay, any other patterns for other things beyond headers, like symbols? No, there's really not right now. We'll just start in here. how to handle cutoff sentences that he generates. So yeah, Jarvis is basically he's got like kind of a character count that we've capped him at, and he'll go off the rails a little bit, and so we don't want him to just like fill up a whole dang page because he'll just start talking crazy. And so oftentimes you will see that he'll end with in the middle of a sentence. There's really no way for us to stop that because of what I just told you, in that Jarvis doesn't know that he's about to end a sentence, or he doesn't know what the word count's about to kind of cut him off there. And so frequently he will just end in a sentence. And then you can decide, you can either end that sentence for him and just kind of continue, or you just delete it, and not deal with that. Yeah, and not, have to try to figure out where he was going on that there. Okay, cool. Amber said, every time I paste something in, it redirects me to the very top of the page. Yeah, this is probably the most annoying thing in here, where one thing you'll know, it's only if you have the power mode open. So if I try to take this and paste it down here, it'll just paste down there, no problem. If I have the power mode open, I'm try to paste the thing down here, paste it, pops back up to the top. Super annoying. It's probably the least favorite part of my life right now. And we're fixing it. But yeah, just for now, if you close into the focus mode, it won't do that right there. That is an issue that we know about. And yeah, we're working on that. Is the 10 words limit GPT-3 AI limitation? Yeah, it is. So that's kind of a technical limitation there. Is everything autosave to documents? Yep, everything should be autosaved. I did know somebody said today that they lost a little bit of content there. But it should autosave. Please let us know if that doesn't autosave there. What do quotes do to Jarvis exactly? For example, if I've put the quotes up in here, the quotes do the same thing it does for you and me. It's not necessarily anything particular. It's just saying, Jarvis just knows as after reading the internet, he kind of knows that people use quotes. And so it just kind of helps isolate, a word or two. Yeah, so that's kind of how quotes are. Okay. Yeah, we'll work on the markup stuff, and all that. Can we get the editor bar up top for basic things like bullets, underline, italic? Yep, absolutely. We'll add that in there. What are the differences in generate, length, medium, long, etc.? This basically just is how long you want Jarvis to write. So if I put short here, again, one thing I've found is that, again, starting off sentences or starting off where there's a period is not as high quality output typically. If I put okay, he'll write just a little bit there. So I don't know exactly how many characters it is, but it's just a short little output there. How to save and load back when opening a new session. And sorry, I know Chris has maybe been answering some of these things here. What do you mean by that, Carol? For the most part, I haven't had any issues where it just automatically saves whenever you log out and come back in. It should be just saved right where you left off in there. Yeah, people have said, something that's worked is adding the Grammarly extension in here. Definitely that works well. I've used that sometimes. I disabled it because I don't want people getting all confused about, what was our tool and what was Grammarly. We're going to be adding some more kind of Grammarly like features in here as well, to help you just kind of clean up, content and all that. I mean, there's so many sweet things we're going to do with this page here. And so hold on to your butts. This is going to get really awesome really quick. This is literally like scratching the surface. But yeah, we're going to make this like the ultimate writing area. Okay, cool. So Claire, in the webinar earlier, you said you rewrote a blog and checked it for plagiarism. What plagiarism tool checker did you use? I use just Grammarly's. If you want to check something here, you can just paste it into, well, this is kind of the pro account. You can paste it in there and it'll just show you if something is, already used out there on the internet. Is it possible to keep Jarvis on a general outline, or is it our job to steer the whole time? So let's talk about outlines. What you could do, as I showed in the webinar, is, give him the, oops, give him the title. Let's give him an outline. Okay, so he's generating these. Okay, so here's the outline. Now, what I want to do, just to give a little bit more control over this, make him a little less likely to jump off the rails, is add those to it. So now I've got my outline. I want to, get these right. So if I want him to write like this, I'll need to start this paragraph off. Let's just say I do medium here. So what's he doing here? Well, as I run this, Jarvis is going to know that this is the headline. This is the beginning of it. I want to try this. Try these tips. Okay, let's see what he writes here. First thing you do is try practice chipping and putting with a friend. Yada yada. Okay, pretty good article there. Now what I could do, is come down here and just kind of, basically I would put the outline in right there. Now, we don't have a way that you can kind of just like click generate up here. He's going to like give you the outline that you want. This would really be the way to do it, where you can kind of write your outline, put the little pound signs there, and then just kind of work through each of these as you go, and just always kind of move the cursor down into the next one there. So use your body to help you get the ball up in the air. Most golfers don't use their body enough at all. In fact, best way to get their body to get the ball up in the air is using their whole torso, not just swinging your stiff arms, yada yada. So here I'm basically using, the outline first, and I'm not letting him kind of create the outline. You can definitely do that, and that works fine. One thing we're going to do too is, we're going to keep kind of like building out a little bit different flows for different types of posts. And so right now we've built like a very general editor that allows you to write a ton of different stuff in there, and that's really nice. But there's some ways that we can make him better at writing very specific kinds of posts, blog posts or Facebook posts or whatever, that we're going to be rolling out there, and maybe a little bit like templates to kind of get you started. But we might have, this might be blog post assistant and like LinkedIn post assistant and all of that stuff there. That kind of gives you a little bit more of an on-ramp onto it there. Okay, some good tips in here, some API requests. Okay, I've got a whole blog post I want to rewrite. How should I handle that? Yeah, you can just paste the whole thing in there. You could either do it this way. You could definitely, like, let's say, I wanted to, go copy some blog post from or use it as a guide. How to write a blog post. This is like super meta. How to write a blog post. And I'm using AI blog post builder to copy and rewrite somebody else's blog post. Okay, so I could take that, and let's say I could just kind of hop over to the blank document and like paste the whole article in here. I probably want to paste without the styling. For that, I just did Command Shift V to take out the styling there. And then I could just go through it, step by step like this. Okay. You probably already know the integral process. One thing to notice, you are going to see more duplicates inside of here right now. The reason that is because of kind of the way we're running this. You see like the text here like streams in, where in our other templates tool, it all kind of comes in at once. Basically, the other tool, it all comes in at once, and then before we kind of deliver it to you, we're checking for duplicates, then we're stripping those out. Here, because it's streaming in, we actually don't check for duplicates yet in this, and so we're going to work out a way to kind of reduce the duplicates on this. But you can basically just go through and just use this tool and rephrase a ton of it to make sense. Maybe I want to like expand this a little bit, make it more creative. It's like, boom, you just go through the whole article that way. But yeah, you can just paste it all in there in once. Okay. You mentioned earlier today about input content and Jarvis rewriting to create original content. So you could just copy and paste. Yeah, you could just, this would be a really, a lot of people want to rewrite stuff. It's already out there on the internet. You just take it, pop it in here, rewrite a bunch of it using this stuff. Boom, do the whole article like that. Pop it in Grammarly's plagiarism checker and then see to be sure. But I've done that several times and it comes back with original content there. Okay, yep. A lot of people have asked about that. Does the spelling matter on entry, UK or US spelling? It's a lot of that's probably going to depend on what you put in up here, and like what your kind of inputs are. You could probably ask it to have UK spelling or something like that. It's really probably just going to read how you're writing, and then adjust based off that in real time. Um, cool. I seen Chris, you're handling Nick there. I'm in the AIDA framework. How do I bring up the Pro Tools like you were clicking on? So you're gonna one need to be on the Pro plan, but two, come to content. Click this content up here, and you're gonna just see the documents up here. You can either go into the long form assistant with a blank document, and then up here it's called Power Mode. You're able to click up here and then pull open AIDA over here. So if you get the Pro plan, this is probably where you're going to be living more than you will in the other templates section. And yeah, this will be available later on as well. What content types have you used long form for so far? All different kinds. I mean, a lot of my posts, in the Facebook group and emails and stuff like that have been. I mean, I've got all these different blog posts, and I've got stories about eating snakes, and I've got a poem, for my wife. I didn't actually send this to her, but I was playing around with that. Or basically, poem for my wife for our 5th anniversary. I've got, Facebook ads here for Samcart and, all sorts of stuff. So I've really created a lot of different types of content and it's worked out really, really well. Yeah, Carlin, you said the styling. The question was, I've noticed I add styling to the document, but then it isn't preserved and it's stripped out. Yeah, right now we're not handling styling inside of this right now. So even if I bold this, it'll work. But then if I, go back, it's gone. That's something we're going to add in when we add in the bold and all of that stuff. But yeah, we're not kind of saving all that right now. Okay, Michelle asked, she said, I tried to open and write in the blank document now, but there's no compose button. So the blank doc does not have a compose button. That's one of the differences there. The blank document is for, rewriting stuff or just kind of working over here. The only one that has the compose button right now is the long form assistant inside of here. More asked about LinkedIn. Yeah, I've written LinkedIn posts. It's I guess, what is LinkedIn posts? The snake eater was kind of probably something to do well on LinkedIn. I've seen a lot of these kind of stories like that do really well over there. But yeah, you can definitely write that. You guys make a browser plugin so I can use Jarvis directly in other websites? Yeah, we are looking at doing that. We've made Chrome extensions in the past, and so we're definitely familiar with the tech. And yeah, we've looked into kind of being able to have Jarvis follow you around the internet as well. Okay, yeah, I'll check out ClickUp. Somebody said take a look at ClickUp for that. Man, guys, I've missed so many questions here. I apologize. You guys are flying. Okay, question. Can Jarvis dumb down content for us? For example, I'm reading a lot of scientific studies that include big words I don't always understand. I want to make them understandable for the common audience. That's a great question. Right now, he's probably not great at that. But one thing we could do is add a little toolbar button right here that's right for a 15-year-old or right for a 5th grader or something like that. And it could rewrite it in the tone of like a fifth grader or some level there. Like, excuse me, that could help simplify that content. So yeah, there's probably not a great way to do that right now, but it's definitely something that we could do there. Because switching to the language for designing content, we need to add some more language controls inside of this. We don't, we don't have a lot of the. You could probably just start writing in a language and it might work, but it also might not work. But if you wrote this in Spanish, wrote this in Spanish, and all your text is in Spanish, I think there's probably a good chance he'll write in Spanish. But we need to add some more language controls to just give you more flexibility and like I guess like control around that. Could Jarvis write comic strips? Probably, yeah. I'd love to see an example of writing a long form sales letter. Yeah, that's a good idea. I won't have time to do that here today, but yeah, we could definitely get some trainings on like writing long form, kind of Dan Kennedy style letters there. How do you recommend writing scripts for YouTube videos? Same way. If I was doing that, I would say, okay, well, what kind of content is this? Like, this is a YouTube video about how to, whatever, pick locks. How to pick locks, secrets of the master, generate ideas. Kind of look through these. Let's take a look at this. Picking a lock is something that most people have never done before, and yet most of us can recognize the side of a key turning in the lock and know what it means. We're about to be let into our home or car. In this video, you'll learn how to pick locks like a pro. And I just took that from, the intro thing. And so here I can just kind of start doing the exact same thing. I could even use the, video outline or video topic idea or, video script outline here to kind of build out the script there for that and start copying and pasting stuff in there. Can we save articles anywhere on platform? Margaret, what does that mean? If you didn't get that answer, let me know what that means there. I'm not totally sure. Chris asked if Jarvis uses a quote, do we need to fact check him or is it going to be the correct attribution? I would definitely fact check him. We have kind of geared Jarvis up more to be a creative writer than we have like a fact checking, librarian. And so he can get a little creative and get a little wacky. And I would definitely be fact checking, him, especially for like really important stuff there. So the better you seed your content, Jarvis improves, right? You'll probably get better results by writing a lot in here in the content description, honestly. If you're in the pro plan, obviously you got 600 characters now instead of 400. So you can fit a lot in here. You'll probably get better. You'll get better results from adding more stuff in there just to give him more to write on. Okay. Can I see the pro bar and the blank document now? So yeah, some people ask about the pro bar setup there. I mean, it's kind of what I'm calling. Well, I don't know what I call the pro bar. I've got kind of this toolbar down here that allows you to like, make something more creative, and then select that. I've got, the power mode over here. I don't know what exactly I called the pro bar there. All right. What other, yeah, lockpicking lawyer fan. That's kind of where I got it. I've seen a few of his. How about composing a news release? No problemo. Perfect. Yep, you can do news releases. Again, it'll, just tell it, hey, there's a news release here. Somebody else asked, I saw a tool when writing Facebook ad copy. It validated the Facebook ad policy and flagged words which could get rejected as something you're considering. Yeah, nothing immediately. I mean, obviously we want our stuff to be compliant. We've got some Facebook ads templates here that we want to be compliant. And so I don't have an immediate, that's not going to be real soon, but that's something that we've definitely looked at how to do that well. How can we target who we want the content to be made for? Let's say I want to target system admins, for example. I want Jarvis. So it's like here, you just do this. You just say, great, this is an article, blog post about how to upgrade your servers. The intended audience is system admins at 500-person tech firms. Content should be at a 5th grade reading level. And you can do stuff like that to kind of give it description like what kind of content you want to come out there. So that's how I would handle the audience that you want this thing to write for. Okay. By the way, one thing that you should be able to do, I don't know if you guys have seen this. We need to announce this. Inside the regular content section, you see your content here. You can now move stuff into different projects. See, we did a big old launch today. I didn't even talk about something everybody's been asking for. That's how fast we're moving here. So you can do that and kind of move it into a whole different one. It's a pretty slick interface here actually as well. So I know some people are asking about that. We need to post this in the Facebook group, let people know. But feel free to go move all your content all around, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, guys, I didn't even know this existed. Oh yeah, well, I guess Chris, you're on my team, so you're saying the same thing as me. Yeah, well, stuff just gets released around here. Okay, one quick question: why don't I see improve or rewrite bar in the pro plan? Alexander, I guess reach out to support about that. If you're using this and you're not seeing when you highlight text this little bar pop up, let us know. There's a chance you've got like a Chrome extension that's blocking it or something like that. Maybe a pop-up blocker. I don't know what that would be, but let us know if when you highlight text, you don't see that thing there. Somebody asked about can you see what other people are writing about? Yeah, right now we don't have any like rules or kind of like rules or roles around how to separate content and like segment that. So everybody will be able to see that. If Jarvis writes a hit song for me, do I have to share royalties? Yeah, you got to do that with me or Jarvis. Probably Jarvis. Jarvis will take it from me anyway here. Okay, I'm working on a sales email, but when I try to write it, the ideas are always talking about blog posts. How do I get Jarvis to recognize that I'm writing a sales email? So, here's a marketing email. Okay, which I guess is the same thing. So I tell them, this is a marketing email to announce the long-form marketing content feature we're adding to Conversion.ai. This new feature makes it super easy to write blog posts, articles, yada, yada. And then the title, I should just add this later as like a little tag, so that really wasn't in there. Okay, so in this case, I went over and I got the subject line. Let's say email subject lines. Not AI. Generate that. The long form marketing feature we've been waiting for, and it's free. I don't know who told you guys this thing was free. Jarvis is trying to give himself away here. $99 a month unlimited. So you put that in there and then start it off like, hey, Dave here. Wish there was an easier way to write marketing copy. Okay, let's generate. Well, now there is. I'm happy to announce that we're launching a new feature now called long form content's free for everybody here. All right, so it's writing more of this email style thing because I described my content as a marketing email. Yep. So that's kind of how I would write an email. If you get him talking about something else or blog posts or whatever, some of that stuff's kind of him defaulting to his train. And if you don't explicitly tell him, he's probably going to write more blog post style stuff. Okay, maybe we do one more question here. Then I got to head back and feed my boys macaroni and cheese. We got a lot of stuff that we're working on here. We know about a lot of it. Give us a week or so to really clean up some of the weird, sketchy stuff that's just clearly, a mistake. This thing's gonna get so good, y'all. And I've been pounding out content, so much faster. So even just as a user, I really love it and hope you guys love it as well. Again, if you've got issues signing up or upgrading, we know about it. We are hammering away at that. And yeah, you guys have been awesome. So thanks for being such a great customer base. It energizes us, and just know that we're having a ton of fun over here. Hopefully you guys can feel that and are having a lot of fun being with us. And we're kind of busting our tails here, for you guys. So let's make something awesome here all together, and love working with you guys here. All right, message support again if you have any questions, and we will see you guys tomorrow back in the Facebook group, and we'll have another training we'll let you guys know about here tomorrow as well. All right, y'all. Peace.